Oh my goodness, I made it. I almost didn't make it, guys. It's the Oh Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app, or just subscribe on YouTube. Tell a friend, tell your grandmama about this 10-minute podcast about wrestling. Today is another Royal Rumble episode because I promised it and now I'm stuck. Let's do this. Today we're talking about some of the best surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. Now, as you know, I'm preaching to the choir here. The Royal Rumble is the greatest gimmick match in professional wrestling, hands down. Don't fight me on this. It is a given fact. WWE created themselves a vehicle to allow for the most ridiculous things in wrestling to happen. Anyone can come out in the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumbles in the past have had people like Drew Carey and Pete Rose and all these non-wrestlers pack the ring. Maybe we'll do an episode on all those guys. But some of the best entrants are the returns of former champions, or people who got fired and kind of rotated back in, and just folks you would never expect to be in the Rumble. That's the appeal of the Rumble. Everyone's always like, what's the surprise? Who's going to be in there? And I did a whole episode on that. Like, please stop announcing who's going to be in the Royal Rumble. There are obviously people who are going to be in it. Cody Rhodes is going to be in it. Drew McIntyre is going to be in it. We get it. Becky Lynch is going to hit the Rumble. We get it. There's just certain folks who are going to be in it. But don't tell us. Just show us. And some of the best surprise entrants are the ones you would never expect. I think in 2016 was the year AJ Styles debuted, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going off the cuff here, so don't crucify me, wrestling fans. I'll do the research afterwards. But I believe he came in at number 3. I might be getting the year wrong, but I'm pretty sure he came in at number 3. It was an incredible surprise. Everyone was freaking out. I don't think anyone really knew who he was. Hardcore wrestling fans knew he was the best guy from TNA. No one ever thought he would make his way to WWE, and then out pops this music that no one knew, and the word phenomenal popped up on screen, and people went ballistic. And here comes AJ Styles, and I think the announcers don't get enough credit for selling how important or how amazing it is that such and such a person just showed up. But I think it was Michael Cole and I was about to say it was Michael Cole and Taz. Whoever was at the desk, I can't remember who was in 2016. They did sell. It's like, oh my God, it's AJ Styles. They were freaking out, and I was like, oh my! I knew who AJ Styles was, more tangentially. Like, I didn't watch TNA, but I saw clips of him. I knew AJ Styles was great. He was in the X division, I believe. Don't crucify me. And he did great work. So having him rotate into WWE was a fantastic moment. He didn't win that Rumble, but he did go on to win the World Championship, which he hasn't rotated back to. I hope he's in the program now with Roman and Orton and LA Knight, but AJ's not winning that. So hopefully maybe they'll move him to Raw and he can feud with Seth. I think AJ Styles will be a great guy to take the belt off Seth, because he can carry that title really well, especially heel AJ in his with all his abs and his black jeans wrestling, even though he keeps getting caught by the RKO the exact same way. Anyway, I've talked for 4 minutes and haven't gotten to my list. All right, number 1 on my list of best surprise entrants, and I guarantee you're going to hate this one, but I don't care because this is my show and I appreciate you. Nia Jax at number 30 in the 2019 Royal Rumble. When Nia Jax came, I think she beat up R-Truth and threw him out, which I don't think gets enough credit for R-Truth being number 30 in the Rumble. Jax beats his ass and then becomes what I would call one of the best surprise entrants in the male Royal Rumble. I don't get the Nia Jax hate. I understand she worked pretty stiff and she was she was fairly unsafe. I get all that. I understand all that. But she's gotten better. She's gotten better in her return, and she's not hurt nearly as many people as she did before. She has a great look. She could be dominant. They're really building her into being a monster. But in 2019, none of that was true. So her coming into the Men's Royal Rumble actually made a lot more sense because she can work as stiff as she wants, and the guys can, probably take. I mean, they're butchered by 300-pound men all the time. So Nia Jax coming in, tossing people around is no big deal. And she got a lot of offense as number 30 in the Royal Rumble. And she took everyone's finisher and got tossed out, and it was a great moment. It's a moment you won't forget. If you love the Royal Rumble, no matter how mad you were that Nia Jax, quote unquote, took a spot from somebody, it made for a memorable Royal Rumble moment. And that's what the Royal Rumble's about. It's about making crazy moments. Speaking of crazy moments, this past year in 2023, Booker T coming out and doing his whole shtick was a fantastic moment. I loved seeing Booker T come out. Dude still looked great. Didn't move, moved pretty gingerly. Didn't move like he used to, but it was great to see him come in. And I think he said right after that, he said, "You won't see me in the ring again." He's like, he did it for The Rock. No, he did it for the fans, but he's not wrestling anymore. He's out there training the next generation of wrestlers. So good on Booker T for jumping in the wrestling tights in 2023. Mr. Perfect in 2002 was a huge return, because who thought Mr. Perfect would come back to WWE that year? That Rumble, 2002 Rumble, was pretty great. I believe it was the final four were Mr. Perfect, Stone Cold, Triple H, and Edge. Again, I'm going off the cuff. I can't remember, but I know Mr. Perfect helped to get rid of Stone Cold. I remember that much at least. I'm blanking. I think Edge was in there. I can't remember. Someone let me know in the comments. I'm sure they will. And then they'll downvote the video. He didn't know who was the final four. I stopped listening immediately. Downvote. But Mr. Perfect coming back was great because he was, in fact, the perfect wrestler. Dude was incredible. And seeing him in the Royal Rumble in 2002 was surreal, honestly. It was like a bygone era of wrestling came back, and he still looked great, moved great, could still be the Mr. Perfect he was. It's a shame we lost him. RIP to Kurt Hennig. He was an incredible talent, and having him come back in the 2002 Rumble with all those monsters was an incredible feat. He held his own, and it was a great moment. And my favorite wrestling moment, I think you know where I'm going with this, my favorite was Edge in 2020. You want to talk about a year where nothing went right? The Royal Rumble did it right. The Royal Rumble got the only thing right before everything went to crap. And Edge coming out at number, 19? 20-something? I don't remember. I don't remember the number. It's so memorable, I forgot the number. I don't remember the number. But I remember the feeling I got when Edge came out. That music hit. I still attest that his entrance music is the greatest entrance music in professional wrestling. You think you know me, and the crowd went absolutely ballistic. That pop that Edge received in the 2020 Royal Rumble almost made him cry. 2, almost made me cry, but I'm an automaton, so nothing happened. And 3, he had one of the greatest runs in the Rumble, and I believe he went on to win the 2021 Royal Rumble, the Thunderdome Royal Rumble. I believe he won. I didn't watch that one, but what an incredible moment! What an incredible pop for the rated R superstar Edge. Those are my picks for some of the best Royal Rumble entrants. We will do a whole episode on some of the weirdest Royal Rumble entrants, like the Drew Carey's, like the Pete Roses. Maybe we'll do something about Kane throwing all of those people out. We'll do it all in the next couple weeks leading up to the Royal Rumble. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.